Forget everything you know about Fibonacci, because this version flips the script. It's called the Skiponacci method, and instead of betting on one column, we cover two, boosting our chances from 32% to nearly 65%. That means you win more often, but the recovery strategy has to adapt to a more aggressive version. Definitely not for the faint of heart. In this video, we'll break it down step by step, how it works, when it wins, and how much you're really risking. Welcome to Ninja Gamblers, where we break down the smartest strategies for roulette, blackjack, craps, and baccarat. If you're into table games, join our free community. You'll get all the charts we use, exclusive content, discussions with fellow ninjas, and member-only bonuses. It's free, private, and takes 10 seconds to join. Link in the description and first comment. Alright guys, today we're checking out a twist on the classic Fibonacci method, but with one key difference. Instead of betting on a single column, you bet on two. That takes initial coverage from about 32% to nearly 65% and completely changes how the Fibonacci recovery logic works. Of course, it's not just a doubled Fibonacci. You need some precise tweaks to make the math hold up. This method is called Skiponacci, and you'll soon see where the name comes from. Before we dive into details, if you haven't watched the video on the basic Fibonacci method yet, go watch that first. Link up top right. Without that foundation, this variant doesn't make as much sense. Another fundamental thing, methods like this only work if the game probabilities are real. If you play on rigged tables or unlicensed casinos, the whole statistical framework collapses. Online, there are lots that look legit, but have no real oversight. This is why you should always play on licensed casinos with verified algorithms and guaranteed payouts. We've built a country-by-country list. It's on screen now, in the description, and pinned comment. So, today I'm on an Italian casino using euros, but the gameplay is identical in any currency. Okay then, let's start. I've got a balance of 150 to begin with, useful to remember that for later. What we're going to do is bet our base unit, in my case €1, not on one, but on 2 dozens. Yes, dozens or columns don't matter for Fibonacci, they have the same probabilities. So with 2 dozens, we're covered about 65% of the time. More than half the chance to win. How much will we win? 3 units total, which means 1 unit of profit after staking 2. This is already a different starting mechanic from classic Fibonacci, where you bet 1 unit on a single dozen or column with only 32% chance to win, but potentially profit 2 units. And you'll see that if you lose, the difference becomes even bigger. Meanwhile, let's spin the wheel. In this case, I won, 3 units total since dozens or columns pay 2 to 1. But having staked 2 units total, I made 1 unit of profit. That's how it will go in about 65% of cases. You stake 2 units and make 1 extra unit of profit. We keep going with the same stake. Won again, another unit of profit. Next. Here I lost. And indeed, we're back at 150, having won 2 and now lost 2 in one spin. What do you do in this case? Well, we're playing a variation of Fibonacci, so we use the Fibonacci sequence, right? The one we always use in classic Fibonacci, the one you see in this chart you can download from the link in the description by joining our community. Well, not exactly. The base is that sequence, but the difference is substantial. So first, a quick recap. With normal Fibonacci, on each loss you move to the next term in the classic sequence. So the second term would be 1 again, meaning you'd make the same stake. Lost again, move up to 2. Lost again, next term, 3. Lost again, next term, 5. And so on until you win. With classic Fibonacci, because you're betting on a high payout bet of 2 to 1, which is what Fibonacci is built around, that lets you recover everything as soon as you win on a term. And not just that, the longer you wait, the more extra profit you get. Okay, that was classic Fibonacci, but this time we're covered on 2 dozens, not 1. So the payout is no longer 2 to 1. You don't win 2 units of profit by staking 1, you win 1 unit of profit by staking 2. So is the Fibonacci sequence useless then? Actually, no. What you have to do is skip 2 terms on each loss, and this is where the name comes from. So the first term, 1 unit, is the first stake. Lost? You don't go to the second one, you skip 2 numbers. 1, 2 until you bet 3. Lost again, skip 2 more terms. So 5 and 8 and bet 13. And so on. You follow? So now that we lost, we're going to stake 3. But remember, 3 on each of the 2 dozens, so 6 units in total. Just like I did now. That gives us again about a 65% chance to win this stake. Let's spin. 1. So 9 units total, minus the 6 just staked, gives us 3 units of profit from this bet. And how many did we lose before? 2. So that's 1 unit of extra profit beyond recovering everything in this cycle. Job done, back to the base bet. This time we change the dozen slightly, and we spin. I start winning again, 1 unit of profit at a time. Let's keep going. Okay, lost. So now we know what to do right. 3 units on both dozens. And won. Recovered everything plus 1 extra unit of profit. Back to the base bet again. By the way, this is just one piece of a bigger system. No strategy works forever. The real edge is knowing when to switch, manage risk, and adapt. That's why we built the Roulette Mastery Playbook, a complete framework with bankroll rules, smart rotation, and long-term consistency, all in one structure we've never shared on YouTube. It's already priced well below its value, and members of our free community get an extra discount, on top of the many other benefits such as access to free tools and charts. So, join our community from the link below and get your copy of the playbook. And we're winning again. We keep this up until we lose again. I'm currently keeping winning, 1 unit of profit per spin. And now we've lost, so 3 units on the 2 dozens. And recovered everything. If instead we had lost again, we'd skip the 5 and 8 in the sequence, and we'd bet 13 units on each of the 2 dozens. Lost again, you skip the 21 and the 34, and you bet 55 units on each of the 2 dozens. Notice that the sum of those 4 stakes equals exactly 150 units, my starting balance. Yeah, because that is my stop loss. I won't go beyond 55 on each dozen, because the next spin after that would be 233 units on each dozen. Totally insane. Better to stop earlier. Here we just lost with a 3, so we bet 13 units on the 2 dozens, for a total of 26 units. Let's spin. 1. 39, minus the 26 just staked, minus the 6 lost earlier, and the 2 lost at the start, is an extra 5 units of profit, on top of having obviously recovered everything. Good, we go back to the normal stake. And here we hit the problem with this method. Fibonacci itself is exponential, so the risk of jumping to high numbers is real. And here we're even skipping 2 terms on each loss, so if we didn't have a stop loss, we'd hit meaningless numbers with just a few losing spins. You have to be careful and always have a stop loss, which I suggest at 150 units, which allows for 4 losses in a row. Now, here's an essential difference with Skiponacci. With classic Fibonacci, you're placing a stake with a 32% chance to win, so 2 out of 3 times you lose, and you often climb up to pretty high terms of the sequence. That's the whole idea of classic Fibonacci. You patiently wait, increase the stake spin after spin until BAM! You hit the number. But often you have to wait 4, 5 or 6 losses in a row. And indeed, with normal Fibonacci, my stop loss is 12 terms, 12 consecutive losses. Here though, the game is totally different. With Skiponacci, we have a 65% chance to win each spin, so the chances of losing 4 times in a row are much, much lower. They're about 1.5%, so the chance to win within the 4th term is 98.5%, meaning you shouldn't expect massive chases up the sequence. However, and I hope you know this well by now, 98.5% is not 100%, and sooner or later, a losing streak can hit. And the problem is, we're multiplying super exponentially. At the 4th term, we're at roughly 120 units staked total, so losing that hurts. It's the same concept. The higher the win probability in the short term, the harder the blow when a loss arrives. It's true with Romanovsky, Shawner, and also with Skiponacci. So in essence, Skiponacci becomes a classic high coverage method. And chasing losses for too long with these methods means having to bet ridiculous amounts of money, which of course is not advisable at all. So stop losses here are your best friends. So is it a good system or not? Honestly, I like it a lot. It's a different kind of play compared to normal Fibonacci, but I genuinely enjoy it. And it still keeps some elements of classic Fibonacci, like the fact that the longer you wait, the higher the profit beyond recovery. If you win with a 3 stake, the extra profit as we saw is just 1 unit. But if you recover with the 13 stake, the extra profit is 5 units. And with the big final recovery at 55, you make a nice 15 units profit. So it's a really pretty unique method. Quick reminder, since we're talking about methods that live or die on real game probabilities, everything you've seen so far only makes sense if you're playing on tables that aren't altered. On casinos without licenses, the probabilities can be artificially lowered, payouts not guaranteed, and your data is not protected. In those cases, any statistical strategy is doomed to fail. That's why we built a country-by-country list of properly licensed casinos with tested RNG and guaranteed withdrawals. Link in the description and first comment. In about 7 minutes, I went from 150 units to 200 units, so 50 units profit. And talking about mostly 1 unit plays, I'd say absolutely not bad. So honestly, this method isn't bad at all. I really like it. Just remember the significant risks you have, like with all high coverage exponential recovery methods. What do you think of this strategy? Let us know in the comments. We try to reply to everyone. Now, 2 ways we can help you level up your game. First, join our free community. Join the discussions with other ninjas, get all our strategy charts, tools, exclusive bonuses and extra content, plus a discount on our Roulette Mastery Playbook, the guides teaching you the complete framework we use to link all the systems together and master the game. Link in the description. Second, if you're playing later, remember to only use licensed casinos from our verified list, government licensed, tested RNG, and guaranteed payouts. Also in the description and first pinned comment. And don't forget to always play smart like a true ninja. See you next time.